Welcome to MTG Ectoplasm, your home for Spirit Travel and Magic the Gathering. I'm your host, Dwight, aka DeBlanco, a medium that wears an extra extra large. Like I ask each and every single episode, do me a favor, tell your friends and family about the show. And you know that there's a follow or like subscribe button somewhere around here. Hit that bad boy for me, all right? Because I'm not charging you anything to listen to the episode or watch the episode. So I would gladly appreciate if you're in the spirits or if you're just into Magic the Gathering, just do me a favor. Hit that follow, like, subscribe button. Now, you can reach out to me on Twitter at MTG Ectoplasm, or you can email me directly at mtgectoplasm@gmail.com. I'm willing to take all input, and you know what? This episode is brought to me by a friend of mine who said, Dwight, I'm having a little problem with Amulet Titan. So you know what? This episode is me breaking down Amulet Titan. Now, before we begin, it's now time to do my sponsor thing, and I want to thank my friends at Greg's Games. That's right, Greg's Games. You can find them at 2103 White Horse Mercerville Road, Hamilton, New Jersey 08619. Now, let me just tell you about this. If you're on the central New Jersey, near Trenton, or you're on the Pennsylvania side, it's a moral imperative to check this place out. It's a great place to go to. I enjoy going there. I actually just went there just recently to trade in a bunch of cards to get more cards. They have everything you need for Magic. They got deck boxes, sleeves. They got singles. Now, if you're looking for old commanders, they got old commander decks. They got new commander decks. They got all the pre-cons that you're looking for. Now, they also got Dungeons and Dragons, Warhammer, other tabletop games. So if you're looking for some great, just tabletop gaming, check out Greg's Games. That's right, Greg's Games, 2103 White Horse, Mercerville Road, Hamilton, New Jersey, 08619. And when you're there, tell Greg, hey, MTG Ectoplasm sent me. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for segment number one, and I'm going to sit there and break down Amulet Titan. Now, Amulet Titan, for those who are unaware, is a deck that is truly the bane of many Spirit players. I played against the deck. Unfortunately, I do have a winning result against Amulet Titan. I don't know why. It's just one of the decks that I can really go out of my way and smash. Now, most people consider this deck to be nothing more than a pure synergy deck, right? With Amulet Vigor and lands, and then you got Primeval Titan. Honestly, it's more than just that. It's more of a combo deck if you really think about it. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, a combo deck. Because there's certain things in there that you're going to go, maybe I need to take care of this. Now, let's bring up the deck list there is. So, with my friend Ravishing Renata. How you doing, Ravishing? How you feeling?
I'm doing well.
Hey, there she is, the one, the only. Now, I wish this was a little bit bigger. Thank you. Amulet Titan. Ready? Creatures. It's running one Tireless Tracker, two Azusa Lost but Seeking, I'm sorry, two Cultivator Colossus, four Dryad of the Elysian Grove, four Primeval Titans. Those are the creatures. Now they're also running artifacts. They're running one expedition map. I don't know why I got stuck there, but expedition map. I don't know why. And then you got four Amulet of Vigor. That for that mana cost, that it's such a stupid card. It's also running, this particular deck is running four Summoners Pact. Yep. Then you got to explore, then an enchantment slash land Urza Saga. Ugh. Awful, awful, awful. Now here comes where all of us Spear players go, the lands. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this deck is running a lot of lands. And let's begin. As one Radiant Fountain, one Comlink Vestige, Gruul Turf, a Misty Rainforest, one Slayer's Stronghold, a Sunhorn, shouldn't be Sun, should be Sun Home, Fortress of the Legion, of Asuba, a breeding pool, a Boros Garrison, a Valakut, the Molten Pinnacle, 2 Teleria West, 2 Castle Garenbrig, 2 uh, Cavern of Souls, 2 Silesian Sanctuary, 4 Forest, and 4 Simic Growth Chamber. That's a mouthful right there. That's a lot of land. Now, if you look at this deck, can we be honest? In just looking at it, it just looks like it's just a whole bunch of mishmash deck where it should be too expensive for our opponent to play, right? But realistically, this deck actually gets out a lot quicker than we would actually hope. The reason why is they're using ramp. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, they're using ramp to see if they can get Primeval Titan out before turn 6. Now, the first card they're using is Arboreal Grazer. Now, my loving wife is going to bring that up for me, Arboreal Grazer. And Arboreal Grazer is 1 green, it has reach, and it's a 0/3 beast, right? When Arboreal Grazer enters the battlefield, you may put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. For 1 mana, it's not bad, and it has a big booty. So it means if us, the spear player, tries to attack, more than likely it's going to block our creature. That's the unfortunate part. But fortunately, we have more than just one spirit, right? That has flying. The next one is the Dryad of Elysian Grove. Now, this came to us about last year. And let me read it. It's 2 generic and a green. It's an enchant creature nymph. Unique creature type, right? Nymph. We don't see too many nymphs out there. And it's a 2/4, another creature with a big booty, right? Unfortunately, the image that you see there is a guy who's half naked, and you can see his half looking booty, and it looks, there, right? Not big, but it's there. And it reads, you may play an additional land on each of your turns. How horrific is that? Lands you control are every basic land type in addition to other types. Now, this card we have to keep an eye out on for. I'm going to explain a little later, but this is one of the key cards. Not only does it help them ramp, but it's slightly of a combo piece. Now, the next one is Zuza, Lost but Seeking. Now, this card is all the way from back in Kamigawa, but it came back in M21. It's 2 generic and a green, a 1 and 2 human monk. It's a legendary creature, right? You may play 2 additional lands on each of your turn. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you're noticing there's a theme here, but there's a lot of land that these individuals want to play over and over and over again. Now, the final card that we look for ramp is what? Explore. That's right. 1 generic, a green. It's a sorcery, and it says you may play an additional land this turn. And look at that. You get to draw a card. Are you kidding me? That's just wrong. Oh, you know what? I'll play this spell. I will play an additional land. So since I played a land this turn, I'll just put another one out there. So now on turn 2, I'm playing 3. And I draw a card. Or God forbid, you have Amulet of Vigor, so on and so forth. This is not good, right? It's horrific. But now it comes time for the synergy part of the deck. That's right, synergy. And the synergy comes in a card, a very powerful card called Amulet of Vigor. That's right. This 1 mana cost artifact does what? Whenever a permanent enters the battlefield, tapped let me read that again. Whenever a permanent enters the battlefield tapped and under your control, untap it. Now, most times people will be like, okay, it doesn't mean nothing to me. Why should I worry? Why should I be concerned? Well, if you're watching this right now on YouTube, you're going to see why. You have Boros Garrison and Gruul Turf. Now, if you're unfamiliar with these are what they call bounce lands. They come into play, and then you have to return a land back to your hand and these cards enter the battlefield tapped. Why? Because they produce 2 mana. Now, with Amulet of Vigor, fine, you have to return a land back to your hand. But it comes into play and you can use it immediately. So, for example, you have a forest and you play an Amulet of Vigor. They're play Amulet of Vigor turn 1. Guess what? They can play Boros Garrison or Gruul Turf here, right? They tap their land. Okay, that's 1 mana. They put this land down. They return the land back to their hand. Now they got 3 total mana because now they can use the mana from Boros Garrison or Gruul Turf. Now, the scary part of this is that, say, if they have 2 Amulet of Vigor, each land makes 4 mana. That's awful, ladies and gentlemen. That's very, very awful. That actually sets them up for Primeval Titan. Now, let's look at Gruul Turf. Gruul Turf is just it comes into play tapped, but it does give them a red and green. The whole deck is green, but they need a splash of red in there. There's a reason why. They don't really need it because of the red, but realistically, it's mostly a green deck. But there's red in there for a particular card that's looking for mountains, specifically. And then Boros Garrison, red and white, just like Gruul Turf. So we'll keep it moving from this point on. But that's the synergy. They bounce, they put a bounce land into play, they get more mana, and it doesn't hurt them. So, how does this deck win? Well, this deck wins, if we could go to the next slide, please, the first way they could do it is using Primeval Titan. Because if they can get it out before let's say by turn 3, by turn 4, Primeval Titan comes out. Now they can attack with this creature. This creature's a 6/6 trample. It's 4 mana. 4 generic, 2 green. It's a giant. Whenever Primeval Titan enters the battlefield or attacks, just be aware of that, you may search your library for 2 land cards, put them into the battlefield, tap, then shuffle your library. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if they have Amulet of Vigor, guess what? Those 2 lands come into play untapped. Now, if you look at the next card, if you look side over, you have Sunhome Fortress of the Legion. Taps for a generic mana, like a colorless mana. Ooh, who cares? Now look at the other ability right next to it. It says 2 generic, a red, a white. You tap this. Target creature gains double strike until end of turn. Double strike, ladies and gentlemen. They have a 6/6 Titan on the battlefield. It's now doing 12. Now, let's be honest. I know, we both know. The booties on the spirits, not that big. They tend to be 1 booty, a 2 booty. Very rarely we get a 3 booty, right? So this is a particular card that we have to keep an eye out for. In Spanish, we say ponga ojo. But this is one way they can constantly go in and beat us. They attack with Primeval Titan with the trample and the double strike. So that's the first way how the deck wins. The next way it can win is with Valakut and the Dryad of Elysian Grove. That's right, Valakut and the Dryad of Elysian Grove. What happens is Valakut enters the battlefield tapped. With Amulet of Vigor. We keep on mentioning cards can be untapped. But let's just read. Whenever a mountain enters the battlefield, unless you control, if you control at least 5 other mountains, you may have Valakut of the Molten Pinnacle deal 3 to target creature or player, and you can tap this for a red mana. So basically, you have to have 5 lands. And the reason why I say you have to have just basically 5 lands is because if you look to the side, once again, to Dryad of the Elysian Grove, what's that last sentence say? Lands you control are every land type in addition to other types. So guess what? It doesn't matter if they have a bounce land. That bounce land, guess what, is a mountain. If you have a Valakut, it's also a mountain. Basically, all their lands are mountains. So all they got to do is put several mountains onto the battlefield, and guess what? This is really, really bad for us because they're sitting there. If they attack with prime time, right? They put 2 lanes into play. Well, first things first, they're hurting us pretty bad with the attack of Titan, and then on top of that, they're doing 6 to us. And the fact that they can use that mana to do other shenanigans like play Explorer so they can put another land in the play and draw a card. Mm. And the fact that you have this, I just read it's like they could put another card, so that's 4 lands they could put on one turn, and that's 12 total damage. And God forbid they have that Sun Home on the battlefield. They're attacking you for 12 right there. That's 24. Ouch. Ouch, that's horrific. Now there's another way. One more way they can sit there and spank your hiney. Ready? It's Cultivator Colossus and Tireless Tracker. Now this one's not overly popular, but this is new. This is something that they are trying out, something they're playing with, and some shenanigans, and it's pretty good. Now I'm going to be honest. This deck list that I got here made a modern challenge. I think it hit either first place or it was in the top 8 back in January. I just wanted to make sure I got one of the best lists. But let's look at Cultivator Colossus. 4 generic, 3 green, star, star. Okay, that just means there is something to it. Now it has trample. It's a plant beast. Let me begin with it. It's a plant beast that has trample. Cultivator Colossus. Power and toughness are equal to the number of lands you control. Well, if we've learned anything so far, that Cultivator is going to be huge in this deck because they're constantly playing lands over and over and over again. So this, for 7 mana, this damn thing's going to be on max 7/7 no matter what. There's no mana dorks out there. They're just spewing lands out there, and it comes out as a 7/7. Horrific. Let me keep on reading. Whenever a Cultivator Colossus enters the battlefield, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. If you do, draw a card and repeat this process. Well, what have we learned here, ladies and gentlemen? These cards do not come into play tapped. They stay untapped because of what? The Amulet of Vigor. And they repeat the process over and over again? This here, ladies and gentlemen, why, Watsy? Why? That's all I gotta ask. Why? You make one of the better decks out there better with this, especially in Innistrad. Why? They don't need this in Innistrad. But not only that, they also gave us Tireless Tracker in the deck that we have to worry about. 2 generic and a green, a 3/2 creatures. Great. So this creature doesn't have a big booty, but it has a big front end. I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm trying to keep it PG. Human Scout, right? Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, investigate. That means you get a little clue token. So you get a clue. You got to tap 2 mana, you sacrifice it, then draw a card. Not bad, right? And especially with the bounce lands, oh, you can start searching cards left and right. How bad? Bad. Whenever you sacrifice a clue, which this deck does, put a +1/+1 counter on Tireless Tracker. So think about this, ladies and gentlemen. They're putting lands onto the battlefield. They're getting clues, which I wish they didn't get a clue, but they get clues and they get to draw cards, and this guy gets bigger and bigger every time you sacrifice it. Sacrifice a clue. These 2 cards alone are smashing you in the face over and over again. This why, hands down, as a spirit player, loathe this deck. This is one of the few decks I wish would go into a fire pit and never return ever again. Unfortunately, WotC does its things. They made their banning today, and I just wish they would ban this entire deck. That's just me. But this is the third way in which Amulet Titan wins. So let's go over. First one, Primeval Titan with the Sunhome Fortress of the Legion. That's the first way. Second way is Velikid, and the Dryad of Elysian Grove. Third, Cultivator Colossus, and Tireless Tracker. So that's how they kick our ass. Now let's figure out how we kick their ass. Ready? Let's go. Like I tell you each and every time, Spirits is a fair deck. It's a fair deck. Yeah, they most players complain like, "Oh, it's not fair. You get to flash in, your spirits at the end of my turn by using, the Aether Vial or the fact that you have the rattle chains on the battlefield." No, that's not fair. Well, let's be honest with one another, pal. You're ramping. You're putting these huge creatures on the battlefield. The only thing I have is creatures that let me to put them on the battlefield quickly. They protect their own, and they give me slight evasion, so I can fly over that darn creatures that you have that I just have a hard time dealing with. So the secret in this deck, and what I've seen and I've done over and over again facing these decks, is the fact that you have to attack, attack, attack. Do not hesitate in attacking. If you sit there and sit on your laurels and go, "Oh, I'll just wait till the game comes to me." No, you give them the game. You put it in their face and do not be afraid. I I can't be more sincere than that. The next thing you have to do, if you see Amulet of Vigor onto the battlefield, you need to destroy it ASAP. ASAP. Reason why, if you leave it on the battlefield and they end up playing these bounce lands, it's going to empower them to, ramp up their deck and come at you with Titan or any other creature they have there. Next, Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Now, I don't know if you guys watch Nikachu in the morning, right? He does his show at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. But this is a card that he loads the most. And I don't blame him because it's a card that's really not fair because it allows them to play a land and all their lands become mountains. It's really not a fair card for us or any other deck, but it's there. It's not banned. So the secret is we have Skyclave Apparition, right? We got to do everything in our power to get rid of it, to remove it. Because realistically, it's a 2/4. We don't have anything that we can go out of our way with 4. But do we? Do we? Then the next is Primeval Titan. We need to get rid of Primeval Titan. But once again, here we go. What we can do with a 6 mana creature? Well, there's two things we can do here. Ready? First things first is if we're attacking, make sure you have a blocker behind. And not, I'd say fly over, go, attack, attack, attack. Sometimes fly over and attack, but keep one back. And the reason why I say it now is because thanks to WotC, they've given us a little, what the French call a little bit of je ne sais quoi, a little bit of the I do not know what they were thinking. I am a huge fan, and I'm actually reaching out to spear players such as yourself out there. And I'm saying it is now time for us to embrace channel lands. That's right. Because I'll tell you right now, you put in a Janjo, Seat of the Empire, in your deck, and Primeval Titan attacks you, and you block with a Selfless Spirit. Fine, I'll block with a Selfless Spirit. Fine, I don't care. It's a 2/1 booty. But you know what? I will pay the 1 white, the 2 generic, and because I blocked, your creature is dead. That's right, it's gone forever. Adios, arrivederci, mushi mushi konnichiwa, goodbye. I don't have to worry about you anymore. That same thing happens with the Dryad of Elysian Grove. The only issue is sometimes they don't really like to attack with the Elysian because they're scared. They're shook. They're afraid that we're going to wipe that card out. And you know what? We need to. 100% need to. And then finally, the one card that is a moral imperative that you need 4. Me personally, I pulled back. I went 3, but I'm reconsidering. I'm going to put a 4th back in there, just because of the shakeup that's going on right now in Modern, and that's Shacklegeist. That's right, Shacklegeist. Now I know maybe a couple years like, oh, you should have been talking about Shacklegeist from the very beginning. Yeah, maybe so, but we gotta figure out how to attack this deck. And Shacklegeist doesn't really attack; it just massages them, massages the creature out. So the whole goal is, if you're new to spirits, right? Before they attack, before they declare their attack state, you just ask, okay, you did your main, main phase. Are you going into attack phase? Yes. Well, I'll tap my Shacklegeist or 2 other spirits, and now I'm tapping down your Primeval Titan. So what happens? Well, remember, ladies and gentlemen, when Primeval Titan attacks, it gets 2 lands. So we automatically know. Comes into play, gets 2 lands, so we're screwed there. But when it attacks, it gets 2 lands. Guess what? By using Shacklegeist, we're removing the card out of attack mode. And guess what? They're not getting anything. They're sitting there twiddling their thumbs. I don't know about you, but that makes me a giddy, jovial little boy. Sitting across a Titan player, and he's sitting there smacking you, thinking he's going to smack you over and over and again, and go, oh, there's my Shacklegeist. I will fly over. I'll keep 2 of my people here. Come at me, bro. You think you're a tough guy? Meet me outside, bro. Guess what? Your attack phase hits, boom, nothing, nada. You doing nothing, my friend. And I'm going to constantly fly over and smack you in the face. Now, I've heard people go, oh, Dwight, what would you put in the sideboard? Realistically, it's really tough to come up with sideboard cards. I had to go look at old cards, I could put Dampening Sphere just because the bounce line produces 2 mana. That slows them down to produce, 1. I could put Chalice of the Void in there to prevent them from you creating, using 1 mana spells like Amulet Titan. That right there shuts them down. Maybe Path to Exile. Sorting the. Oh, sorry, I'm so used to Swords to Plowshare, but Path the Exile, the Primeval Titan, or Path the Exile, the Dryad of Elysian Grove. I mean, yeah, they're getting a land, but they're going to put lands out anyways, no matter what we do. So that's one way we get rid of them. And thanks to WotC once again, there's a wonderful, land in channel that we could use, another channel land. And that's Beseiju the Enduring, or Who Endures, sorry. Beseiju Who Endures. Now, I'm expecting, band players to potentially, I'm not thinking, but potentially maybe putting 2 in there. 2 in their main. And the reason why I see it that way is, think about it. If they put 2 in their main and you're running band spirits, what does it get? It gets what? An enchantment, it gets rid of an artifact, and it gets rid of a non-basic land. Well, last time I checked, it gets rid of Amulet of Vigor. How's that a bad thing? Number 2 thing it gets rid of is what? Any dual land, any basic land that's causing us problems. Well, if they're running Valakut, get rid of it. Why are we sitting there twiddling our thumbs wondering what's going on? Get rid of the freaking Valakut. So, if you're running a band deck, I'm just saying, test it out. Go to try MTGO and try it out. If you have friends that really like and say, hey, I'll allow you to put a proxy in your deck so you can test it out before you go to your local game store to play, then fine. Ask your friends to test it out with you. But I'll tell you right now, me playing my Azorius deck, oh, Hands down, I automatically have to a John Joe, the Seed of the Empire. Love that card. That thing's a chef's kiss. Love that. You hear that ching? That's basically, you know, the little fairy in the background going, "Yep, that's perfect." And then I also put the Atara, the whatever the cloud city in the clouds, whatever. I put that in there too, but it's expensive. I'd rather put it where play creatures. But I was like, it's a free spell. Like it's one blue mana that it's a card that can't be countered. How am I going to go bad here? How can I go wrong? So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's do a quick review, shall we? This deck is a combo deck. People think synergy, it's an actual combo deck. It uses ramp to get out there quickly to make sure Titan hits the board ASAP. Certain cards that we have to definitely be aware of is Amulet of Vigor, the Dryad of the Elysian Grove, blah, 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 right? And Primeval Titan. And Valakut. Sorry, 4. So 4 cards we got to make sure of. Go out of your way to constantly attack. Don't sit on your laurels. The only time you sit on your laurels is if you have the John Joe Seed of the Empire or you have the Shacklegeist. And then be careful. Beware. When they have Primeval Titan and the Sunhome Fortress of the Legion, be careful if they have Valakut and the Dryad of Elysian Grove, and be careful if they have Cultivator Colossus and Tireless Tracker. What do you guys think? Am I right? Am I wrong? I know many of you out there going, I don't know. I have a hard time beating this deck. Let me just tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I have a winning percentage against this deck. I see it all the time when I go to an LGS. And I spank it each and every single time. And thank you, Watsy, for making these channel hits. Thank you. Because now I stand a better chance at beating them. Back in the day, I used to be scared of Amulet Titan and Tron. Especially Green Tron. Not anymore. I'm not shook. I'm not scared. I'm going to put the fear of the spirit in them. Now, you can reach me at mtgectoplasm@gmail.com to share your thoughts. Now, tomorrow, I'm doing another show. I'm going to be doing an IRL in real life. I'm trying to do something different. I tried to do one episode specifically focused on spirits. This next one is just going to be talking about the banning tomorrow. And then some of the spoiled cards that ended up making the rounds for New Capenna. And then Wednesday. Now, if you're watching or listening, ladies and gentlemen, Wednesday, I have a special guest. This individual they came in 5th in the Modern Challenge this weekend on Saturday. They were using a spirit deck, an Azoria spirit deck, using Urion. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I have Distar. The individual named Distar. His name is Dennis. He's out there in, I believe, Sweden, right, Ravishing?
Yes.
Okay. He's going to be on my show Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I would like you to join me because it's amazing how people poo-pooed and slept on spirits and said it could not be done. It's nothing more than a tier 2 deck. And this individual, he took pride and said, no. I'm going to figure a way and take spirits up there. I love the fact that we have Dr. Queller out there. He's, kicking ass and taking names. We have Andre Segura, the other spirit master. He's out there kicking ass and taking names. But I'm proud to see other spirit players going out there and doing what they have to do. And I love the fact that we got brewers within our own community who's not afraid to brew. We shouldn't. We should all take every opportunity because there's so many cards out there for spirits. There's no excuse why it can't be a tier 1 deck. There shouldn't be no excuse. And thanks to Dennis, aka Distar, he's proven it right. So hopefully tomorrow you join me 8 p.m. Hopefully I'll have a guest. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. And then Wednesday 2 p.m. 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sorry, 3 p.m. Yeah, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I had to ask the wife because she keeps track of everything. Right, Ravishing?
Sure.
And without her, I wouldn't be nothing. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I do hope that you join me. And if there's any questions, concerns, issues, please don't be afraid to reach out to me on Twitter and on mtgectoplasm@gmail. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the next time you're kicking your opponent's ass, make sure they say, "That's bullshit." We're out of here. Have a good one, ladies and gentlemen. Take